Good afternoon. Myself Rohit, representing Nestcraft. So this is our office building, again an architect's office. So this is a 1,200 square feet plinth area, 2,000 square feet built-up area building. Going by the famous quote, "A man is known by the design he keeps," a typical from the commercial approach of selecting a site amidst the city, the plot is selected in the outskirts, leaving all the hustles. A man cave for the architect, which manifests his life, his inner likings, and amplifies his aura as a person. A space for his team, his family, and friends, and for the people who wants to utilize his expertise. A platform facilitating exchange of ideas, learning, gathering, leisure, work, and living. So the project is called Violet. So Violet is a metaphor, the wholesome idea or objective or intention to find out that unique out of the box element, ideology, and philosophy in the design. So this is the site plan which you are seeing now. So that road is actually a dead end where it leads to a temple and a couple of temple ponds around, and the building is surrounded with intense coconut farm landscape. So this is the exterior view of the building, where this is a single room with 1.5 floor height in a linear format. So this is the interior architecture of the building, where when you enter, you have a double height space of 5 meters, and we have these two mezzanine floors on each side, where on the left side, leading through a spiral staircase is the pantry area, and the right side, we have this ladder which is going to the architect's personal space. So on the ground floor, there is this workstation which accommodates around 12 people, and a conversation pit on the right side, where this floor is elevated and comfortably around 10 to 15 people can sit. So while designing a commercial building of this sort, the one point which I have considered is the probability of adaptability or making this building getting used to some other typologies in the future, maybe say down the lane 15 or 20 years later. So the spiral staircase is a separate entry where we could actually expand the existing office to another floor, or that could be a co-working space on top of the existing floor now. So this is the view from the entire view of the inside space. So the building is actually south facing. So the south facade has been made blunt, and the north wall is actually having, we have introduced these clerestory windows where and a small courtyard where we can have this ample north light, which give this ever changing mood of natural light throughout the day. And definitely on the east side is we have introduced this glass facade where you can get this east light completely flanking inside to this 15 meters of span. So this is the east side courtyard, which is actually actually the setback of the building, which actually transforms into another kind of a discussion space. That right side corner pic I'm talking about. So this is the plan. The grand foyer at the entry. On the left side is the workstation, and on the right side is the conversation pit. This is the mezzanine floor. So moving ahead, apart from the single entry and exit format, we have introduced this multiple entries and exits. So the people using the space can actually feel at ease while they are doing their creative job. These are few of the pictures which explains the indoor-outdoor blur which happens in all of these micro spaces. So this is our core workstation where 6 people can sit face to face with a planter box in between. So this conversation pit, which generally is a formal conference table with 6 or 7 uh, modern type chairs, but I have a seating where people, the visitors, they come to the office and they are actually told to sit on the floor. So that kind of a situation initiates some kind of a casual talk with me, which I want as an architect that connect to that new client where I'll be able to convey my ideas and they will be able to communicate with us in an easy format. The same happens with this ladder where I have got visitors of say age 5 to age 70 who has been curious. Maybe sometimes they are scared also, but that initiates that kind of a warmth where I could actually hold their hands and lead to the first floor, for the mezzanine floor. So atypical to any design approach, the project displays a strong sense of desire to get away from the dogma of facade architecture by responding to the idea of keeping it simple, engaging, and blending material and color palette with contemporary undertones. Straightforward material treatment continues throughout the interior and exterior with the industrial qualities of the polished concrete flooring, exposed concrete ceilings, aluminum frame glass windows, raw brick and concrete walls, and mild steel for staircases. The beauty of natural textures and colors of all building materials, when it is used in its naked format, is being utilized all over the design. So that drawing explains the different permutations and combinations of visual experience within and outside the building. The blue corner of vision is actually opening to a farmland. This is the pantry on the left side, the mezzanine floor, some of the micro detailings. This is the double height at the entry foyer. Thank you.
So thank you for that presentation. I'm just curious to know, because I think the plans and we have seen what kind of questions came up during the design process, because that's
During the design process or after the completion?
during the design process. See, what happens is there's anticipation, there's an aspiration, there's a imagination of what the design studio can be, and that generally for an architect is not a linear process. That's a process where several questions come, counter questions come, and then maybe the architect kind of prioritizes and says, this is more resonating with the aspiration or the need of that studio. So if it's possible, could you take us to prior to this on what were the kind of questions and design process, thoughts, inspirations that may have come, just more as an intuition, to come to this? Because I think the plan, we can see the images we've seen. It is more now I'm curious, how did that evolve? What were the thoughts behind it? So if you can share that.
I think this is a very difficult question because as an architect and designer, designing a space for us or myself is the most difficult part of the design practice. And so the first thing was definitely I was not able to stop at a point where the design gets satisfied to myself and my team. So there were a lot of options being experimented in terms of usage of materials, roofing structure, uh, should be attached to the vernacular style of Kerala architecture with traditional roof, thatch roof, on a sustainable mode of zero energy building and all. So, so we have gone through all of those processes. Around 500 plus renderings was being done, and all. Finally, the thing which the design which what you have seen here is culminated based on the what you can see the practicability of mainly the building. It shouldn't just satisfy my ego, but as I already discussed, it should be used by somebody else after say 20 years. So building should be so flexible with a column-free normal frame structure, which can actually get expanded on top of floor, or it should be actually open from inside to expand to some other kind of spaces. So this was the first priority, or the last priority, which I had kept as a kind of the best, the prime one. And also regarding the materiality, the finishes. So instead of going with artificial cladding or doing this cosmetic work, I would rather say, uh, thought of just using the materials in its naked format in a straightforward pattern, and thus obtaining that kind of balance and composition and composure and pleasure in what the creative satisfaction through those kind of processes. So I would say the design is not yet complete yet. One of the most favorite question of mine from the public is that the building is not yet complete. So why is it so? This is the one question which I get all of the time, and I will. It gives an opportunity to start the conversation from there.
Since this is under the category of commercial projects, just it's a very simple question. I counted only 6 seats.
No,
For,
10, 11 seats actually.
for how much square footage of area?
1,200 square feet plinth area, and because of the double height, it's 2,000 square feet build up area.
2,000 square feet and 10 people, so 200 square feet per person.
Yes.
In a commercial office, is that efficient?
Yes, because see, I have two options of making. This is my second home also, as an architect myself, and my spouse also working in the same field with same space and all. Most of the times we spend in this office space than we spend in this in our own homes. So we need a space which is more homely and more warm, and which can actually incorporate lot of other activities, like we play sports, we sometimes jam up with musicians, and host all of the parties from whatever happens in within and outside, or the neighborhood. So this is kind of this is the thing. Yeah.
Just building on Meghal's question on your entry being, and this probably applies to many others as well. How, commerce has a particular meaning in our lives, right? It's about transactions. Commerce has a lot of transactions, but it's also in the Indian context. Commerce, of course, has formal markets that are associated with it, but there's also a lot of informality in the space of commerce. So I'm just curious to know how you interpret your office design through the lens of this idea of commerce as a financial function, as a social function, as a cultural function as well.
You're talking about the financial part of it?
All parts of it.
Okay.
Commerce has multiple dimensions that it can be qualified through.
Okay. So a facility of this sort, which if I would if I place it in the cityscape or in the urban fabric, I would at least should pay around 40 to 45,000 of rupees per month, and it will go exponential when the years go away. So I just had a basic calculation of the rent for say 20 years, and actually I had invested half of that into this building. So that was my actual the confidence to start off with this project of this personal space. Yeah. Thank you.